So I've lived in Reno for a year now. July 24th to be exact. Thought I'd give you guys an update, and especially if you're interested in moving or just my whole experience, this one's for you. Wow, has it been hard? And I am doing my makeup while I'm doing this. I figured that'd be more entertaining than me just sitting on here with a full face. But I won't be talking about the products I'm using. I will leave everything down in the description. Mercury is square Mars right now, so glitches are happening in the Matrix. Everything will be linked down below as far as makeup goes if you are interested. Anywho, so I technically now live in Sparks. I'll leave a little image somewhere of Reno and Sparks. When people talk about this area, they say Reno Sparks area. It's basically like, for those of you who are my North Carolina friends, it's basically, if you're talking about Raleigh and Durham, they're very much overlap, right next to each other, kind of the same city, but not. So I actually live in Sparks now, which is more quiet, more remote, more chill, not as loud. And it's nice where I live. My family also lives here. The reason that I moved to Reno is because of my family. And I will leave a little card of my vlog of when the whole experience of moving to Reno was a fucking mess to begin with. That video will show you what happened. And I'm going to be honest, this experience has been extremely difficult. It's not been easy. I am from North Carolina, so North Carolina is all that I knew. I'm not gonna call North Carolina my home because it's just simply not, but I had to leave. I lived by the beach basically like my entire life. This is the first time that I'm living in a place that's not coastal. And Reno's like a legit city. This is the first city. Like, this is a step up from Raleigh. This is a little bit more than a Charlotte, you know? Like, this is like a mini Las Vegas. Before I go into like the things that are really cool about living here, I'm just going to get the negative shit out the way, because lately I've really been struggling with some of those things that make it difficult to live here. Number one, pretty self-explanatory, it's expensive to live here. Granted, you will find jobs that pay way more than you will find in the South, for sure. But it ends up kind of balancing itself out, because gas is $6. Groceries for me, just for myself, is like $120 every 2 weeks. I know people that I personally work with at my warehouse that make $30+ an hour. So, you know, it's doable. If you get into a position like that, you can definitely live comfortably. And something that I've noticed that's different, people my age, like basically in their 20s, people in their 20s a lot of them are living pretty fucking good out here. Another thing that I want to bring up is the type of people that live here. So Reno is in Nevada, which is generally like a red state, extremely conservative. Washoe County, which is the county that Reno is in, is one of two considered blue counties. I think people here are nicer. I really do. Like, unfortunately, it's shocking to me that I can walk down the street or just be out and about here and not be sexually harassed not be catcalled, like not be approached by fucking randos. Like, that was something that I noticed pretty immediately. Like in the first month that I was here, I was like, wow, like I have not had just weirdo men coming up to me, and that was such a relief. There's a lot of Californians here, and it's kind of hard to explain unless like you live here and you know what I mean when I say like, oh, Californians live here. But because places like LA have gotten so expensive in the past couple of years, everyone from those cities are coming to Reno. It's like the next best thing that isn't in California. Very clear that this migration that people are doing from California to Nevada is causing shit to go up. And these Californians can generally like afford a lot of these expensive places to live. Like, I'm specifically talking about like a house or an apartment or whatever it is, because they're used to paying a lot. California is like one of the most expensive states to live in, if not the most. So the people that live here are definitely outdoorsy. A lot of them actually are conservative, but they're not extreme Trumpy people like you would see in the South. They're definitely more chill, more laid back. I personally have actually found it harder to make friends here than I ever did in North Carolina. Like, tailgates are not a thing here. Football, like, what is football? Like, they don't care about football over here. So these social activities that I was used to going to back in North Carolina aren't happening here. Like, the equivalent to that here is, let's go to the lake. Like, let's go to the river. Like, let's go on a hike, guys. It's very nature oriented here. Just generally across the population, like that's how people are spending their time. And it's either that or they're going to the casino. But what I've noticed for young people here is like, instead of tailgates and house parties, like house parties is a big thing in North Carolina, especially if you're in college, and that's just like not a thing here, which blows my mind. It really does, because that's how I've met so many people. If you want to make friends here, like the friends that I've made here, I've made because I've met them on dating apps like Bumble BFF. Like, that's a dating app, but you can use it to find friends. Like, it's like shit like that I've used to meet people. And the other thing is like people at work. Like, I've made friends with people I work with, and that's been the most organic, easy way to meet people here. But I find that a lot of people here are just like too much in their own bubble, that it's hard to join in. It's hard to make friends here because a lot of people here are from here, you know, like they already have their people. I think generally, at least in my experience, the young people here are superficial. Like, that's the best word I can describe it as. I found a lot of down to earth, like ride or die ass bitches in North Carolina. Young people aren't really as concerned about making friends and being young as much as building a career, making money, like going to the club, gambling. It's just like, that's the environment here. That's what's available here, that kind of environment. But back to my family, you know, I have a difficult like relationship with them. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. I do. And it definitely makes me, sometimes when I'm having issues with them, it makes me regret moving here, because they are the reason that I came here. And I still have like so many connections and support back in North Carolina that sometimes I'm like, damn, maybe I should have never left. But here's the thing. In actuality, this was leaning on best decision of my life. It's been really hard. Like, I feel like I'm going through a dark night of the soul right now because a lot of just, it's not shit regarding to Reno. It's never like, oh, like, I regret moving here because of the city itself. It's not that at all. It's like, I have these feelings of regret and loneliness and missing my old life because of personal issues. If you see anyone online tell you that Reno Sparks area is boring and there's nothing to do, they're boring.
They're boring.
There's so much to do here. There's this river called the Truckee River. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about it. It's pretty famous, and it runs right through the middle of Reno Sparks. And also, like, I-80 goes literally right through the middle of Reno. So you can go to the river, you can drive 30-40 minutes west to go to Lake Tahoe. Like, there's so many trails. Like, if you wanted to go and take a weekend trip, for instance, and you wanted to get out of the area, Sacramento is literally 2 hours west. There's always a concert, there's always an event, and a lot of these events are free. Like, they're just at this park. You just show up at this park and they're free, and there's music playing, and there's food trucks. Like, food trucks is a big thing out here. And especially during the summer, there are 3 festivals that I know of that are currently happening right now. The Dragon Lights Festival, which is kind of the same thing as Art World, which happens like the whole month of July. Dragon Lights Festival and Art World happen specifically in like Midtown Reno, and Midtown is this like retro boutique, a lot of small businesses, that kind of area. It's not downtown Reno, it's like directly next to downtown. Downtown's a little bit different, but Midtown is definitely more like millennial, Gen Z focused. A lot of cute shops, cute restaurants, a lot of small businesses. There's like tarot readers that have little shops there. It's really cool. So there's a lot of art shows, sculptures, a lot of conscious healing kind of events, like group meditations, Reiki. Like, if you're into that, like, you will find stuff to do here. Oh, and also next month in August, there's the August Nights, I think it's called. August Nights or August Lights. I think it's August Nights Festival, which is just basically like car shows. Classic cars, vintage cars is a big thing out here. Okay, I had to pop off camera and finish the face because there was too much talking and not enough applying. Another thing that's kind of a downside, at least for me personally, this is something that's pretty important to me, is that as far as organizing goes, more so than in North Carolina, people don't necessarily have to worry about racism or police brutality because of the population. Vast majority of people here are white people. Probably most of them cis straight white people. White people don't have to be concerned with racism. Everything is built for them. So that's why there's not as much protesting and actions taking place, events like that, as compared to North Carolina, because in North Carolina, we have such a large Latino Black population that, of course, that affects them. You're going to see that pushback more because that's the population. There's less police involvement here, or like police presence here, than in North Carolina. I mean, back home, they're easily like a cop on every fucking street. Like, they're everywhere. they are involved in stuff like speeding tickets, you know, a lot of, I mean, the 80 runs right through Reno. The police are extremely concerned with the house's population here. So that's also where you'll find them, is harassing a fucking homeless person. Okay, so this is the final makeup look. Ooh, pretty. I actually really like it. I've been really into brown lip lately. Last thing I will say about my experience living here is the weather is delicious. I love the weather here. It's not humid whatsoever. Love that. It could be 90 degrees outside and it feels like 70. There's always a breeze. Winter / fall are the longer seasons. Like winter will bleed into the spring months. Spring is like 2 seconds and then all of a sudden you're in summer, but summer goes by really quickly and then we're back in fall, which is personally my favorite season, so I really don't mind that. A huge downside though is the fires. It's extremely dry on the West Coast, and we do get smoke from California right now. Today's not so bad, but we've recently had a smoke warning because there's a fire in Yosemite right now, and all of that smoke just blows over to Nevada. So last summer was pretty shite because of that. Because COVID, plus it was literally not safe to go outside. Like it was a good 2 months where there was just like every single day on the Weather Channel there would be, or like on Apple Weather, like it would say like, it is not safe to go outside. If you go outside, wear an N95. The city itself, like disregarding any kind of relationship, family bullshit that's been going on. Reno's a great city. I really like it here. There's a lot to do here. Cool. Thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I know I took a 2-week break because I've been working overtime at my warehouse, which is fine, and just making more money to save. So, but I was just way too fucking tired. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.